everybody, Edo here, and this is Formula D by Asmodee. And interesting story, this has got to be one of Seth Johnson's favorite games. I mean, he talks about this game more than most, as far as I'm concerned. And I had never played it, and actually, I don't remember what was going on, but he ended up taking care of my kids for an evening, which, thank you, Seth, that was awesome. But while there, he played it with them, and they loved it. They loved it. Kids come home asking for things all the time. They often are like, get that board game. And they certainly were all about getting this board game. And Emily was super interested in it. So we picked it up and played it some more. And this is a really cool racing game. I don't know that there are that many out there. I have played some. There aren't too many that get into the grind of racing your car and the gears and the speeds. I do believe there are some. And again, I haven't played them. So where this ranks against all of the different ones, I know there's I think it's Downshift or Downspeed. There's a new one that just was restored, and there's the Flame Rogue. Or there are a couple well-known racing games, of which this is one of them. Can't compare it to those other ones, but if you're not really into racing, I really do think this game does a good job. Huge box. It's 2 to 10 player. Partly because it has a gigantic, gigantic board. This is half of the board. You have a second set like this, and it's double-sided. So you're definitely getting a lot there. And as you can see, it's a really small track with really small rectangular spots, and that's because you have small rectangular cars. And there are a ton of these. They're all different. The quality's not that great, but they're super cool. They're tiny. They're colorful. And then you get a big set of dice. Now, this is broken into 2 types of games. There's a beginner game, which is this setup. And there's tons of these trays. I mean, the components are all there for 10 players, and you have a player card, which is more relevant in an expert play, but you're still going to pick one. And on the back side, you have a similar track, but it has all the different, like your tires and your brakes, and more, in-depth simulation. And but what they also have is they have a bunch of dice. D4, D6, D8, D10, D12. All of those things. One of the things I found really interesting about this game. So let's just go ahead and play. So simple mode. It gets more complicated in advanced, and I love that they have the both, because the advanced is something you level up into, but the simple one you can just explain and go. The simple one is you're traveling around the board, you're gearing up and gearing down, you're gearing faster and slower, and the main thing you need to keep in mind is that when you're coming around a turn, you need to stop in that turn as many times as the number indicates, given how severe it is, or you take damage based on coming out of it. So, and you could take this game. You can spin off the course if you're just going crazy, and it's like slot cars. You can totally if you weren't paying attention or trying, you could get knocked out in this game, or you can just take damage and towards the end get knocked out. But if it's a 1, I just have to somehow stop in that spot and then continue through to represent slowing down. There are later ones that are swiggly on the other board that are 2 and 3. Oh, here's a 2. I'll need to stop in there twice. So what makes that interesting is how movement works. And I really like this. This is a D4, but this D4 only has 1s and 2s. This is a D6, but it only has 2s and 4s. Here, D8, 4 through 8. And then it starts getting more explosive, and the 12 is 7 through 12. The 20-sided die. The 20 is 11 through 20. So you can't get low numbers. And what is this? Not sure what. 30-sided die, I think. But it's only 21 through 30. So the way it works is you're shifting gears. And so if you're in gear 1, you can only roll this die and get a 1 or 2. You can keep shifting up one at a time, getting faster and faster. But then you're going faster and faster, and your likelihood to blow through a turn goes up. So you're downshifting and upshifting and trying to play the odds of your speed and trying to tip through in, and maybe taking a couple damage to go through a little further. In the advanced game, you're worried about a number of other factors as you're playing, but it's really this great shift and car management sim that's pretty easy to explain, it's pretty easy to play, and is nice. Again, production quality still is like, it's excellent for probably 2, 3, 4 years ago when this version came out. I'm not exactly sure. I don't see a date on it. You know, I think if this was remade today, you might push it a little bit in some of these other components. But overall, really well done. I absolutely can see why Seth likes it, and we enjoy it a lot. It sort of has a, you know, plays pretty simple. You can have a conversation while you're going it, but there's enough jockeying and moving ahead and behind and things like that that people stay engaged. Admittedly, I have not played in huge numbers. I've played 5 and lower. I've never played a 10-player game of this. So perhaps, like, I think if you were like really big into Formula D, you might get more of these dice sets. I don't even know if they sell them alone. Not like you totally need it, but you know, you get a lot of like, oh, hey, I need that die, I need that die, because you're switching the die you need and you only roll one of them. So that's a little bit of a pain. But really fun, evocative. Again, can't compare it to other racing games, but if you're looking for just a fun, evocative racing game, or, you know, just a different thing to play with the kids, I like it. I think it's really good, and I can see why Seth likes it too. So, Formula D. Hey everybody, Edo here, and thanks for watching Gaming with Edo. Reviews over here on this playlist, League and Insider videos over here on this one. Subscribe, share, all that good stuff. But most importantly, play some great games. Thanks.